Today is a VUCA world in the true sense of it, and organizations, corporations look towards consultants who can help them navigate this world by finding the right talent, right leaders. Today we are talking to a leader. We are talking to Priya Taneja, CEO of DHR Global, who's in India and trying to expand the footprint of DHR Global in India. She's herself a young CEO, having worked at DHR Global for the last 12 years, and now looks after DHR Global's global footprint. Welcome, Priya, to India.
Thank you.
And what are your impressions of India? You come to India after having become a CEO. What are your impressions of India?
I love India. I grew up coming to India every summer, stayed for 3 months. My mom's Gujarati, so we went to Gujarat all the time. And then since then, I've been coming to Mumbai every single year. So I'm very fond of India. I'm proud of India for where it's become, how far it's come. Yes, I love being here. Very welcoming country.
Absolutely, no question. But let's look at it from a DHR Global's professional lens. You've been in India for many, many years.
Yeah.
You have an excellent CEO in Vikram Chachi here. And how are you seeing the business environment? How are you seeing DHR Global's operations in India? What's your vision for DHR Global in India?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think over the last even 5 years, we've seen DHR India and just in general, the economy in India went from more services based to more, they're actually like playing in the global economy as leaders. And so for us, that makes our business a lot easier because we are getting amazing mandates of global CEOs, of regional heads, MDs. And I think that just shows how far India is coming, and it's helping our business tremendously. And now we're getting to the point where we're focusing on boards and succession planning and really helping that next generation of leaders.
Fantastic, Priya. Now, one of the things is that you help founders, boards identify leaders. What are the top 3 attributes that are being looked at for prospective hiring of leaders? And what has changed in the last few years? Some of the things stay the same. You look at integrity, you look at past track record,
right?
You look at understanding of technology. Those, the ability to build a team, to motivate a team, the concerns towards sustainability and ESG. But give us a sense of what are boards and founders looking at when they're hiring CEOs of large corporations, or they're recruiting board members who will actually contribute and be involved.
Right. That's a great question. I think what some of the main characteristics is really adaptability. Someone who could I'm messing up my words, but someone who could adapt to ever-changing environments, right? There's so much disruption going on. So someone who's agile and can kind of roll with all the disruptions, someone who can lead a change management, because as AI is getting more and more pushed to organizations, we're really looking for leaders who can handle change management. Because when there's uncertainty, your employees and your workforce, there's a lot of shakiness. And so you really need a leader that's really focused on earning trust and ability to communicate so clearly on where the organization is headed, and just like having a strategic vision of where the company is headed. So having employees feel a sense of relief knowing, because when there's unknown, there's a lot of instability. There's a lot of instability in organizations. But if it's known, right, you have a workforce that's even powerful going forward.
Now, your view may be different, but I believe, and I normally don't do generalization, but I believe leaders are becoming dwarfer. Earlier, leaders were taller, metaphorically speaking.
Sure.
In an environment like that, how do you bring more compassionate leaders who will create more leaders? The job of a leader is to create more leaders.
Absolutely.
So give us a sense. You may not want to name your clients, but you give us 2 or 3 instances where you will able to do creative thinking to bring in a set of leaders who really were suited to that particular role, job, and were very compassionate and committed to creating more leaders.
Yeah, I think the number one thing we look at, just to your previous question, is looking at leaders who can build leaders. And so at DHR, we have three verticals, right? We have executive search, we have emerging search, and then we have leadership consulting. And so that's why we established leadership consulting, because we saw the need for our clients. They need help in identifying leaders, help in succession planning, and help in building that next generation of talent. And I think we see our clients more and more ask us for succession planning. And then even when we hire maybe a step 2 leader, they ask for coaching. So we do CEO coaching. So there is a lot more need for coaching, succession planning, and helping these, especially because the population of these CEOs are now aging. So succession planning has been more prevalent and more, it's been so important for leaders to identify that next generation.
So continuity is very important.
It's very important.
And identifying the leader that much in advance so that you groom him or her to be able to fill in the shoes. But let me also ask you, you know, DHR Global is a boutique, large. It's boutique and large sounds a little oxymoronish, but it is well known. What differentiates your offering from other headhunting firms?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's boutiques in size, because compared to our competitors, we are a smaller size. But what's different with our differentiator is that we are global. We operate in 22 countries. So we have that global footprint. But what differentiates us from our competitors is that when our partners are in front of clients and they're pitching and they're showing kind of our value, those partners stay with that client from the pitch to the fill. And it is it's a continuation of that partner being there from point A to point B. And I think that's really important, because I think our partners understand the impact that we make with every single leader that we place. Because if you think about it, right, you're placing a CEO of a Fortune 100 company. The impact that CEO has on that company, on that team, feeding families, like it's such a serious job, and it's such an impactful job. So we don't want to just hand that role to our associates or senior associates, right? We want our partners to be the ones interviewing candidates, talking to the client, negotiating those offers, because these are such impactful roles and
high touch. Also,
very high touch.
Also, getting a partner to kind of lead it may also get you better quality of talent, possibly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's a bit like a boutique law firm who has a partner actually working on mandates rather than junior associates.
Exactly.
So I get that. Now, Priya, you yourself are a very young CEO of a very well-established headhunting practice, and you became a CEO at a very young age, having spent 12 years at DHR. From your own understanding of managing the 70 partners who are very, very accomplished across the globe, what do you think works for a CEO?
Yeah, 168 partners.
168 partners?
Yes.
Across
22 countries. Yep, across 22 countries. So I think what it is, a couple things. It's trust, right? It's trust, it's communication. A lot of these partners have seen me start as the HR manager 12 years ago, and I was the global HR manager, and working my way up. But what really has differentiated what I do is I've earned the trust of the partners, and they've kind of seen me in every single role and the impact that we've made. So when you look at DHR, even 12 years ago, even 7 years ago, our retention rate was about, I would say, 84%, which is not terrible, but not great. Now, looking back, I just looked in November, we're at 94%. So I think the partners are seeing that impact of the cultural shift that we're doing. When we hire partners, we're not, there's quantity and there's quality. We are all about quality. We want to hire the best partners to do the job. And I don't necessarily want to be the biggest global search firm in the world. That doesn't appeal to me. I want a culture where people are having so much fun, doing such impactful work, working together, collaborating with each other. And I think there's something like life is too short to not work somewhere where you truly enjoy it so much. And when you have such an engaged workforce, guess who feels the impact? the clients.
Of course.
The clients feel all of the engagement within the firm because people truly love working together. And it's not just regionally or by country. There are partners who work cross globally with each other and collaborate. And so it's fun even working with different countries and seeing different cultures and seeing how search may be run a little bit differently.
Sure. And Priya, you're a non-family member who's a CEO.
Yeah.
How did that happen? I know you explained to our viewers that you started as an HR manager and then you grew in various roles.
Yeah.
And hence you had an understanding of the culture and the mission, and you had worked with these partners across the globe. So you became the CEO.
Mm-hmm.
But give us a sense of what are the qualities that you think, I know that you already kind of alluded to some of them, but give us a sense of what is the kind of qualities that got you into this role?
Yeah. So we had a founder that founded the company 35 years ago. And then the son took over. And actually the son, Jeff Hoffman, took over about 13 years ago. And that's when I started it, as like the 1 year after that. And he started as a new CEO. I started as HR manager. So I kind of watched his journey. But I think what's different is, and you don't see a lot of HR leaders go into CEO roles. But I think what Jeff saw in me was that family-rooted values that I embodied myself, which is trust, which is empathy, which is we pride ourselves in like being a family-owned company. And with that comes a lot of different, like culture is very, very important. How we treat our employees, how our employees are feeling. So it's a lot of ensuring that we are operating like a family. And I think they saw me from a pretty quickly, the impact that I can make with people and I'm a very empathetic leader. And I think Jeff and the Hoffmans value that about me. And I think that's how I kind of earned the trust, and partners are the ones who bring in the business. And I think the Hoffmans saw how quickly I was able to kind of understand, empathize with the partners, make employees feel seen and heard, change policies that have been in place from the beginning of the company, and taking risk. And I think all of these things kind of helped him see the what I can bring to the table. And I think the number one thing is just earning the partner's trust and respect. And I think that's not easily done, right? It's very much earned. So I think it's all those qualities, and seeing kind of what the culture has become from where it was. And the interesting part is, like, I know every single employee at the firm. I can name every single 500 employees. I know who works with who. I know who does what. I know globally where they sit. And I think that is very different from your typical CEO. And I think that's what the Hoffmans see my values, that I'm very ingrained in the business and in the employees, and I care. And you really need someone to care, because then you see automatically, if you take care of your employees, the revenue is going to follow.
100%, every business.
Yeah.
Now, Priya, let me ask you, you talked about how an HR manager grew and became a CEO.
Yeah.
At least last 2 decades, we've been talking about HR having a board seat, seat on the table, and they are getting, at least I know India, I can say that.
Yeah.
But I still feel more HR leaders can become CEOs. For example, almost globally, more than 30% of CFOs become CEOs.
Oh, absolutely.
The CHRO number is much lower.
Much lower.
I mean, let's look at Unilever globally.
Mm-hmm.
A CFO became a CEO. What do you think, what needs to change for CHROs to grow into CEO and really top leadership roles?
I think, number one, there are more CHROs that have a seat at the table than ever before. So I think we're already going towards the right direction. I think in the last 5 years, especially with COVID, CEOs saw HR leaders navigate the most tumultuous time in a lot of people's, what people can even remember. So I think as CHROs, navigated the situation and helped the CEOs strategize on what to do when it comes to employees and people. I think CEOs started seeing the value of what an HR leader can truly create within an organization. So I think that helped. And I think as AI is getting more at the forefront, employees are starting to feel like, is my job at risk? Am I replaceable, right? So I think CHROs are helping CEOs just be more understanding of communication and how to show up and how to ensure that the organization is still feeling the stability and the vision that it's striving to achieve. So I think all that is important, but I do think CHROs are just being more strategic advisors to the CEO. And that's how you're seeing more CHROs become CEOs. Not at the level CFOs are though, but I think that's
it's getting
change.
better.
It's getting better, and I think it's going to change.
Now, let me also ask you, what is your ambition for India, for DHR Global?
Yeah.
You have Vikram Chachi, who's done a fab job. He's been there for a while.
Yeah.
India is growing.
Mm-hmm.
The economy is growing tremendously. Every sector has multiple players, and hence competition.
Absolutely.
Hence the need for top tier competitive talent
Mm-hmm.
is growing. The remuneration in India is growing.
Right.
So much wealth is being created through IPOs.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the ambition that you have for DHR
Yeah.
Global in India?
So when DHR Asia started, we had Hong Kong as our headquarters. We had all corporate members sit there. And as India started evolving and being more in the forefront and more as a global partner, we started shifting some of the corporate responsibilities over to India because we saw the talent that lies in India. So as we started building our corporate functions, we hired our, head of finance, our head of research. But then slowly it became more than a data center, right? Or a more than just like a corporate headquarters for the region. We started seeing the growth and the revenue increase by all of our partners bringing in new clients, bringing in diversified clients that we've never worked with before. So our partner hiring is at the highest it's ever been. We want to build India. We see it as a regional headquarters. And I think we're just getting started. I think there's so much, there's so many other sectors that we need to hire in because of the need. Our clients are wanting more, so we want to prepare for this next phase of growth for India by hiring partners and hiring bigger teams. We have a team of about 20 right now, and I want to say probably a couple years ago, we were at maybe 10. So we are increasing our size and ensuring that we're increasing it thoughtfully by understanding what the client's needs are and hiring partners around those needs. But yeah, we see India as a top player.
Again, Priya, let me ask you that hiring a CEO is a certain kind of consulting assignment. Hiring a board member, because
Mm-hmm.
the right board also helps in building an organization,
Mm-hmm.
bringing oversight, bringing, really advice, which really matters. Give us a nuanced view of how does a search for a CEO is different from a search for a board member.
Oh my gosh, it's very different. So CEO searches, we have a process, but when you're trying to find a board member, there is a lot more in-depth process that goes into it because you're working with the entire board to fill that seat. So we have a specialized board and CEO practice, and those searches take much longer, and not because they're harder to fill, but because they go through a very deep process of assessments and depending on what the board is requiring. But there is so much more high touch and sensitivity when it comes to board placements than they are when it comes to a CEO placement. So we have a whole different process and a whole different practice that is just dedicated to board and board placement.
In Priya, no conversation about leadership or hiring can be complete without discussing the role of AI.
Yeah.
AI is changing consulting businesses.
Oh, yeah.
In some cases, not in a very positive way.
Right.
How is AI impacting the headhunting business?
That's a great question. I think the number one thing is that the great news is that we can never be replaced by AI because we are such a people-centric business. AI is not going to ever determine a culture fit, right? And they are not going to be able to negotiate and see how a person's feeling. So that part is great. I think where AI is going to change the game for us in the best way, it's never going to replace anyone. It is going to make our processes so much more efficient. We are going to be able to fill searches a lot faster because we are going to have the tools to help our support staff members identify candidates quicker. So, typically it would take 3 to 4 days to just do mapping and just get a short list. And now that mapping and identifying potential targets is a lot easier because AI can do it in what it took 3 days for an associate to do, AI can do in 2 minutes. So I think it's not replacing, and it's actually enhancing our services. And clients are going to be so pleased with how fast we are able to get the first candidate to them compared to what we've been able to do without AI.
And Priya, how do you update yourself for the role that you play? Of course, you talk to your partners, you learn by doing, by being in the play, by meeting and trusting people. But give us a sense of how do you make sure that you are kind of evolving every day, things that you do consciously, things you do subconsciously, and things that come with the job. Of course, when you're in play, you learn, and of course, you've been in the play for a while. So give us a sense of how do you make sure that what is the next big thing so that you can advise your clients?
Yeah, great question. I think I'm always learning. I'm always growing. I'm going to make mistakes, and that's what's going to make me stronger every time a mistake is made. Now, I'm going to try to avoid all mistakes, but that's just part of human nature, right? And that's how you grow and learn. And I think for me, I'm lucky enough. I have amazing partners. A lot of our partners are ex-CEOs, CHROs of companies. So, I definitely take advisement from a lot of our partners. That's one avenue. I wake up every single morning and I read every single news outlet. I think that reading and just informing myself of where global economies are is a big part of making sure that I am in tune with where the world is and what's going on. And the third avenue is I'm a part of YPO, which is Young Presidents Organization. And that since joining, it has changed the game for even how I show up as a leader, right? I'm a mom of 2. I am a wife. I am a business leader, and I'm a friend. I'm a daughter, right? So all these different hats that especially women have to wear. I think YPO has really helped figure out how to make sure you're well balanced. So if one part of your life is maybe a little shaky, it's not impacting the other parts of your life.
Sure.
So I think all those things help me kind of have a clear head in when I make decisions and how I kind of move forward with where I want to take DHR and the strategic vision that I want to keep ensuring that I'm aligned to.
And Priya, if I talk to in a year, the next 12 months, where would be DHR Global globally? And what would you have achieved for DHR Global in India? You've already outlined that you would like to increase the number of partners. And already India has become the base for or the center for Asia Pacific. But give us a sense of a little more granularity.
I think globally, we open more offices. Collaboration increases just across the globe. I think that's kind of our differentiator and our secret sauce of that. For India, I want to grow by partners, but also grow in the type of searches that we're bringing in. And we have a third pillar, like I mentioned, leadership consulting. I want to see an increase of clients utilizing those services to ensure that they have future-ready leaders. So it's a combination of everything, but definitely opening up more offices, building stronger offices. We just hired a great partner in Japan, so ensuring that we're supporting and continuing to build Japan. Same with India. Vikram is an excellent leader, and with his support, we're hiring more and more, not only partners, but also a support staff to ensure that when partners start, they are ready to hit the ground running with support and bringing in searches. And then globally, just ensuring that we are truly the smart global boutique firm. So increasing how much tech and tools we have. AI is obviously a big investment that we're going to make, but ensuring that our support staff members are up to date on any type of tool that is going to enhance how they operate and how we deliver to our clients. That is the investments that I'm making. And also one of the big investments that we are doing for 2026 is we're doing a partner sales training. And it's just helping partners just think outside of their BD box. You know, we want to help them think of, with AI and everything and geopolitical situations going on, how can you continue to be the best talent advisor to your clients? So really training our partners to make sure that they are equipped with the knowledge, the tools, and have the ability to ensure that partners can be a one-stop shop to our clients. So I think that's really, really important, that we are known as a talent advisory firm and we can kind of do it all.
Thank you, Priya. I'm sure when we meet next year in 2026, DHR Global would have grown its footprint to countries it's not there, the number of partners you have, and obviously you're talking of working with clients and organizations beyond headhunting and board positions.
Yes.
I'm sure all that will happen, and we wish you luck in your endeavor. Good talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Look forward to more conversations.
Absolutely. Thank you.